Hey everyone, I'm Nate. I'm with Outside Cleaners here on Cape Cod, Massachusetts, and today I've got a question from a fella named George who's over in Chatham. Um, his email says this: I'm remodeling a house and trying to determine my best approach for new shingles. We prefer a grayish hue, recognizing we can just leave them raw and wait, which is fine. I also wanted to get your take on single dipped and semi-transparent stains. My main goal is to have the shingles last longer and reduce mold and mildew growth on the shingles themselves. What are your thoughts? All right, so great questions and a lot going on there. So I'm assuming that George is talking about white cedar sidewall shingles. So not a roof, sidewall. Here on the Cape, we see red shingles, red cedar shingles on roofs and white cedars on siding almost exclusively. The reason for that is got to do with the properties of red versus white shingles and the cost. So white cedar sidewall shingles. The gray hue that George talks about, that comes from exposure to weather, oxidizing out in the elements. So I don't have a shingle here, but when a white cedar shingle is new, it's yellow. It's kind of a pale yellow. Over time, if it weathers properly, it turns into that nice silver gray that everyone loves, and there's actually paint colors called Cape Cod gray because of that. I'm going to say definitely not with a semi-transparent. Definitely don't pursue that path. I've seen plenty of those products that they try to add like a little cloudy grayness to the shingle to make it look like it's already weathered, but you can still see through the pigment. You can see the grains in the wood. You can it's almost like it's a fog on the wood. I've seen those. Oops. I've not seen any of those last in a manner that impresses me. I've seen those time and again cause headaches and expensive problems for the owners because when they start to weather unevenly, or they need touch up, or they explode in mold, it's an expensive thing to fix. And I can't tell you how many properties I've worked at in the last few years where I get paid to strip that stuff off so that the owner can then have a solid stain put on. So I'm not going to recommend anything semi-transparent or translucent, or definitely not anything called bleaching oil, which I've addressed elsewhere. So I would to make it last longer. Okay, this is sort of a sub answer. Here on Cape Cod, we have a lot of fairly high-end properties, and looks are a kind of a big deal. So I don't see siding being replaced because it stopped functioning as siding. Water isn't pouring in through the side of the house and it's time to replace the siding. No, I see siding replaced when it stops looking good, or when it starts looking too bad. So the longevity of sidewall shingles on Cape Cod is really determined by how long the looks last. So with that in mind, and George's goal of having the shingles last longer, I would definitely recommend for this remodeling project that he go with a solid stain pre-dipped shingle. Those are going to be they're stained in a factory on all sides of the shingle, even the side that's facing the house. So they're stained in very controlled conditions. That's going to ensure the best stain job. It's way better than putting up natural cedar shingles and then trying to stain them on the job site with pollen and dust and humidity and rain and all that to contend with. So a solid stained pre-dipped shingle is going to last as long as anything that I'm aware of when it comes to white cedar shingled siding here on Cape Cod. Those shingles that are pre-dipped with a solid stain, they're easy to clean when the time comes. If there's some mildew or algae upon it, that's an easy cleaning job. I love those. I look like a hero. It's easy. Cleaning natural unstained cedar sidewall is significantly more challenging. Cleaning cedar shingles that were stained with anything semi-transparent or bleaching oil, that's a whole nother project. I mean, that's a whole nother level. So, George, definitely my advice, solid stain, pre-dip, get it double dipped if you can. Try to find one that's loaded up with mildewcide. And, it's going to take some maintenance. It's not going to just last on its own for 30, 40 years, but you're going to have it touched up periodically. And every, 10 or 15 years, you'll have it restained. But that's what I would do if I had the money. So hope that helps.